What's up, y'all? It's Weege. This is Weege Says. I talk about production, studio, songwriting, philosophy, whatever the hell you want. I'll even give you love advice if you want. Not that I'm an expert. But I wanted to talk today about milestones and goals and success, what it means to me. Yesterday, I wrote a comment and it triggered something inside me. I was talking about, I basically said that every day in my head I quit at least once, maybe twice a day. And it was just humor. I have this sardonic sarcasm, snarkasm as I call it. And someone reached out and was concerned. And I appreciate that. I'm super grateful for that. I think it's important people understand that I get, one, I have a really weird sense of humor, but two, that, I think that's just the creator's mind, not the creator as in God, but like the mind of a creator, of an artist, of a musician, is just like success and failures. It's this weird scale we have no control of. So we feel defeated quite often. But what I want to talk about today is kind of just loving yourself, Don't make it weird. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about, I got this little, we're good. I got this little dictation tool over here. So it's literally writing as I'm talking. It's weirding me out, but, and there's some errors already. I mumble a lot. Okay, so I want to talk about milestones. Why milestones matter. When you're hiking or you're on a long bike ride or just whatever, you're just on a walk, whatever. You're trying to get to the top of the mountain or to your goal, your destination. Usually doesn't happen in one complete stride unless you're just a total badass, which is fine. Usually on a long hike, you stop and you recollect your journey. You kind of look back and you take a sip of water. You take in the scenery. You spend a lot of time reflecting. To me, that's what a milestone is. Milestones are like critical moments in your career on the path in your life, or in your path or on the path to life. Yeah, there you go. So don't ignore them. Live in those moments. That's why milestones matter to me. A milestone is everything to me right now, especially because the last time I did pre-saves, I'm going to cheap plug here real quick, but I did pre-saves was in 2021 with the Find Your Rhythm track. And I think I got, 112 pre-saves. Wasn't really inspiring, but it was 112 people that were really excited about my song, and I ended up getting like 8,000 streams for that song. But anyway, I didn't understand the value of pre-saves back then, so I probably didn't market it right. And at the time, I just didn't understand it. So basically what a pre-save does is it helps the algorithm on the DSPs, the digital service providers like Spotify, Apple Music. It helps them identify songs that might have a strong start because a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are hyping it up. So on release day, you have better odds of getting thrown in a playlist or just getting noticed quicker or throwing it in someone's, not For You page. What do you call it when Spotify recommends new songs for you? But anyway, today we reached 125 pre-saves. Crushed the previous milestone in less than 3 days. And we're well on our way to the goal I created, which is just 500, which 500 pre-save sounds really cool, right? It's it's out of my ass. I just made that up. I don't know why I need 500 pre-saves. I just thought it was a good number to start with. And I just, sometimes you just gotta set numbers and try and crush them and see what happens. And if you don't, hey, it is what it is. But going back to where I started, like, I tend to have this weird sense of humor about my career in music. So don't read into it too much. I just like to joke a lot. But if I had like $1 for every time someone says, go find a real job, right? I'd have the money to support my music career. Again, sardonic, sarcastic humor. I'm a little in your face with that shit. I want people to know you can't give up because the successes you yearn for weren't as you expected. Like, you didn't specifically hit a certain goal. So I'm setting this 500 goal. If I don't hit it, my world isn't over. But it's a nice number to start with, right? If you fall short of your ambitions, you have to look at any success you can find in your work. And take pride in that and use it as kind of the next step, the next, I'm talking about the next step on your journey on the way up, right? You got to get to the next level with that attempt. And as people grow mentally and physically, you realize that wisdom is the highest achievement on this earth. And sometimes that doesn't always come with success. Sometimes that comes with failure. The truth of the matter is that it's perfectly okay to have a day job, okay? If you're pursuing your dreams and you have a day job, that's okay. Shit, I mean, maybe your day job is your dream. And if you're doing that, you're doing it right. Good for you. For a lot of us creative, artistic types, it's not always the case because art doesn't pay the bills the way it should. Not right away, at least. I have a part-time job and I'm doing whatever it takes to support my music and my family. But I didn't do it because of like societal, expectations or pressures, or people in my circle saying, hey, you got to get a real job. Give up this cockamamie dream of yours. No one's saying that. I'm just putting it out there. Maybe a few people have said it, but I don't really care. Anyway, I have some notes here. So for me, the naysayers, right? Isn't that 311? Fuck the naysayers. The people who naysay and they try to convince you to give up your dreams, they aren't really fit to lead you. They don't deserve to live rent-free in your head. That's a pretty popular saying that I like. They're just scared. They love you, but they don't understand what success, like how to define success, especially for an artist, for a creator. The people that love you don't always know what is best for you, but they want what's best for you. So don't take it as negativity and hate on your craft, right? They just never chased their own dreams to fruition. So they don't understand, right? They've never felt success and they don't have the competitive artistic edge to see that through. Seeing your dreams through is fucking hard. They're not willing to take those risks. They're not willing to be vulnerable. And, I don't want to sound like a pubescent teen, but, what's the saying? Parents just don't understand. Oh, that was Fresh Prince, whatever. My parents were super supportive, so that doesn't apply to me. But, there are people out there in your circles, whether they're friends, family, who tell you you're never going to make it. And that's unfortunate. That's always going to be there. And it's not worth putting any effort or time into trying to please those people because they're not the people you need to be successful. And there's even people who have creative talents who gave it up to work behind a desk or whatever. They decided to go work in construction, which is nothing wrong with that, right? But they gave it up and they think that they understand the struggle, but they don't because they quit. They let it go, right? So I'm here to tell you right now, don't quit your dreams. Don't give up. Don't quit your dream. The people you want to give you that sense of redemption, you shouldn't be doing it for them. Unless it's your children or your significant other and you want to impress them, totally respect that. But the people you want, the people who want you to give up, they only yearn for security and comfort. And I can understand, in a world full of insecurities and an uncomfortable world, why that's important to some people. Maybe this resonates a little different for people who are less fortunate and would just do anything for a full-time job and be able to pay their bills on time. Much respect, because I've been there too. So don't take what I'm saying as like judgmental hypocrisy. I'm mostly speaking to creative types. We all have our paths. It's your job to find your path, and within that path, find your happiness in that journey. I mostly speak to the artistic community, so that's who I'm addressing here. So apologies if you're feeling like, hey, go fuck yourself. But, I lucked out in the family department. Not everyone has that kind of support. I've got a wife and children who believe in what I'm doing. They understand what I'm giving up. They understand what it takes to get to these milestones in my life, and they're part of that journey. So if you can find that, you're lucky too. If you can't find that, you need to take an assessment of your life. Make sure you have the right people in your corner. Okay, so talking about sacrifice. I like to talk about ownership, sacrifice, commitment. I'll try and blaze through this. I got some notes here. Like, okay, I gave up my music career in like 2012, 2013. Some people know the story. I used to co-write with other bands. I don't want to get too into it, but basically I was exhausted, frustrated. I think I was actually blacklisted, or 880 South was blacklisted for antics that honestly we had no control, or I had no control over. Well, no, that's not fair. I can't blame other people for that either. Going back to ownership, I have to take ownership for that because I was supposed to be the leader in that band. So I allowed things to happen. That's a story I'll tell another day. I'm gonna digress and go way off the chart there. But my point is that I just thought that the right thing at that time to do, because I felt so broken and defeated, was to start a different career and support my family. I let that defeat crush me. It slowed my momentum. I got, the resume going. I took a sales job. That led to, my marketing career. You blink and then 11 years go by and, in the blink of an eye, your life's different. And then you're wondering, wait, there's this other part of me. What happened to it? But that's what men, or should I say men? I don't know. I never know with gender and stuff anymore, but like, as a father, that's what we feel naturally we're supposed to do, especially men in their 30s. I don't know. Maybe that's the same for women too. I mean, you all have to give up a lot to be moms and stuff. So it's a big commitment. I think anyone with kids understands that. And someone without might even understand it. I don't know. But I don't agree with that sentiment any longer. Like dads in their 30s and 40s, 20s, whatever. I don't think you're supposed to give up what you love to make sure there's food on the table. I mean, work your ass off. Don't be lazy. But I think the pressures of fatherhood are something I don't talk a lot about in life in general, but I should talk more about it. It's easy. As an artist already, it's already easy to feel inadequate and deficient. And when you're an artist or creator, it's like tenfold, right? And I know failure is always going to be a part of that learning process, but you throw in being a father, trying to be a good husband, and the stress levels are just off the charts. They can get really high. I gave up a big part of myself to make sure that my children had some security and comfort. Everything they needed. I don't regret it. I don't live with regret, but I do regret choosing that path versus the path I should have taken. The right move would have been to see my dreams through, to let my children see what it took for me to get there. Like, my daughters need to see me go through the struggle of being in the music industry and not the struggle of like alcoholism, depression, and mental illness that I endured for 12 years working in tech. That was my decision. So make no mistake, nobody's to blame for that decision. I made that decision. I put that in my head that I needed to do that. Why? I don't know. I made that choice, but it was influenced by my own doubts. And those doubts that were projected on me from other people should never have been a factor. Like, I'm not a keeping up with the Jones? I don't remember the fucking saying. Anyway, I don't care what my neighbors are doing. I don't care what kind of car my friend drives. That's just not how I live. I've never lived that way. But I have always wondered, like, how tough it is for my kids when I don't have the money to pay for soccer camp or whatever, just music lessons, whatever it may be. But it's insane to look back because I did make a lot of changes. And, my music career had blossomed and then fizzed and then blossomed and then fizzed. There was just like a whole lot of, it was very toxic relationship with music. But I was super proud of the small successes. Especially under my belt, there's some measure of success that I was very proud of. And looking at my band before streaming and social was even prevalent, like, I realized I had an impact when I started at 880 South. So I'm proud of that. All right, so what is success, right? Gosh, it's what you make of it. Everyone says that. It's so corny. I hate cliche stuff, but that's the truth. To some, success might be a financial goal, revenue goal. To others, it's the impact made by your contributions. Maybe those two intertwine. I'm not unrealistic because you have to obviously have some kind of financial foundation to support your ventures. Some musicians will busk, they'll play gigs, work at coffee shops, whatever it takes. Work 3 jobs. It takes some grit to be a musician, you know? But I also caution people that desire can take you down a dark alley. It'll rob you blind. It'll take your wallet, your shoes, your dignity. You know, you have to decide at some point, you know, like, is your ambition going to cripple you? Because it can cripple you. It can cripple your ability to appreciate the efforts you're making. If you're just moving with life as it happens, I'm going to get all down on you, but goals can vanish quickly. You should want to be within the ebb and flow. The ebb and flow of the tide. You should want to somehow listen to music and talking, it's not working, but you should want to be in that ebb and flow. You should yearn for a destination still, because it's okay to have goals. Goals are not the devil, but you need to have some principles along the journey. You need a methodology. You need a plan, and it has to agree with your lifestyle. You need to live within your means. Don't live beyond your means. You need to stop and smell the roses. Sorry, I had to kill a call. Smell the roses, or you're never going to appreciate what you accomplished. And you're never going to properly love yourself. And this is something I'm going to harp on, because sometimes I'll read stuff like, I'm in the grind, I'm working so hard, and I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'm just like, that's the dumbest thing to ever say. And I cringe when I hear it, because screw that. Because I've done that. And my brain and my body already have enough insomnia issues to last me a lifetime. So I'm not willingly going to deprive my brain of needed rest. You know, I'm lucky if I get 6 hours of sleep a night. So that's just foolish to say shit like that. Now, unless I'm binge watching something and it's really good, occasionally I will deprive myself of sleep. I'll deprive myself of things I need, but it's super rare. If you don't love yourself, nobody's gonna love you. Straight up. Like, if you don't have standards for yourself, you can't be loved. If you don't have a standard for how you want to be loved, and you don't love yourself that way, no one's gonna love you the way you need to be loved. That's just the bottom line. Just remember that this journey is long, but life is still short. You know, was it Nipsey? I can't remember who quoted it, but it's a marathon, not a race. So if you want success, set reasonable goals and even more reasonable milestones. Milestones to me are way more important than goals. Because don't doubt yourself. Don't hate yourself, and just at least try in life. You know, if you fail and you fall on your face, guess what? You now know how not to fall on your face. So take that into stride and absorb that, because that's how you learn. That's how you get better at what you do. What's that goal? 10,000 hours makes you a professional. It's a good number. I think it's bullshit, but it's a standard, right? For me, success is about having an impact on the people around me. So my family, my community, my friends, they all play an integral role in my success, because they help me continue whatever it is I'm creating. The legacy we all create is ultimately the greatest measurement for me of success. Because there's nothing more heartbreaking than being forgotten. Straight up. Nobody wants to just disappear. The most important takeaway, though, it goes right back to what I said in the beginning of this journal, is that you need to take time to appreciate the moments. The little successes and the little failures all matter. The goal can't just be the end of something. It has to be another milestone, because by the time you reach that goal, there's 2 or 3 more milestones and goals that pop up that you got to achieve. So when new goals are thrown on your plate, what are you doing? Take a moment, smell the roses, Milestones matter. The people who are truly happiest in life, they find themselves somewhere in between that ebb and flow, and they're absorbing those moments for what they are. So there's some form of enlightenment there. Again, get all philosophical, but enlightenment and achievement, like together, like it's possible. But you have to start setting some standards for yourself, both high and low. Not low standards like you don't fucking give a shit, but like low standards like don't set such high goals that you can't achieve them, and then you feel like shit because you didn't achieve. I thought I was gonna get 100,000 streams this week. Did you? Okay. So I want to talk about 880 South because this is a great example of my personal success. 880 South is a band, when I reflect on my time with 880 South, my other band as I call it, it's like having another wife, that's weird. But 880 South and I go way back. Now, I used to call them my former band, but the three of us, the original guys, the three guys who started out, we reunited. We're writing again. 880 South is back, kinda. I don't know. We're writing. That's all that matters. I doubt we'll play shows. I doubt we'll tour, but you never know. But right now it's just studio production, and we're having fun. Like, it's great. So anyway, it's very gratifying to connect with those guys again. It was never an easy path for 880 South. We came up in a time where there was no streaming. Social was still a little baby. Wah. Like the MySpace days. We came up in a time, I remember every weekend I was at local shows, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday afternoons at all the local venues and bars, promoting, dropping off flyers, bumping elbows with other musicians, songwriters. It's a good time to be alive. Late 90s, early 2000. And just promoting, that's how you got your name out. And I remember every Thursday I'd drop off, I burned my own CDs. I had my own little CD burner with a little thermal ink printer. And I'd drop off demo CDs, like 15 at a time at the Tower Records or Rasputin. That was my marketing. It was super grassroots. I remember going to the countertops and they'd be gone every week. Started increasing them to like 20. This is before streaming, so there was no way to digitally send stuff except email, but no one opened up emails with attachments. Remember that? So I won't get into why 880 South fell apart, and I don't know how to define it, whether it was a failure or a success. Financially, it wasn't a success. I want to hone in on why I consider it a huge success personally, though, even though it was a financial failure. Why am I laughing about that? It sucks. But anyway, I guess it comes down to like clout and responsibility, right? We were writing music that was different, and the genre was still in infant stages. Sublime was king, Slightly Stupid was coming up. We'd actually played with Slightly Stupid a few times. We were good friends with the Expendables. We still are. Those are my boys. Things were just starting to bubble up, and at the time, what I was most proud of is just that we actually had a legacy. Like, we had built this kind of name for ourselves in a short amount of time, and I'm impressed with how 880 South is to this day streaming with like no marketing, no music budget, no music videos, no touring, nothing. And we're getting, 11,000 to 20,000 streams a month, which isn't much financially, but it's pretty impressive for a band that hasn't released anything in over a decade, since 2008. Now, they aren't stick figure numbers. I get that. But a 20-year-old band still relevant somehow and playing globally, it's impressive. And I'm happy to kind of be, not bragging, but it gives us some clout. Got to give a shout out to our old Japanese record label, Global Cooling, because they really helped us on the international market. Because I get messages from people in Brazil, France, Japan, Australia. I'm trying to think of the other countries, maybe Germany, Canada, and they message saying how much our music meant to them. Hell, Florida's you know, no disrespect to NorCal and California, but I think we have more fans in Florida. And, you know, California love forever, but that just impresses me because we've never played in Florida in our lives. So, you know, Sublime Archive, that was a big deal for us. The peer.org, that was a big deal. That always helped us get our music out in a time when, again, no social. I take great pride in it, if you can't tell. But music doesn't work the way it used to, right? Like, if we can just get Spotify to turn that switch on and give us our monies that we think we deserve, that'd be great. But, you know, that's just not how it works anymore. But in 2022, there's real opportunity. And we're going to strike while the iron is hot. The legacy is everything to me. I'm not going to turn down money or go sell my belongings and join a commune, live in a bus. Maybe I will, I don't know. But I'll take those small achievements, those accolades, they matter. I yearn for that level of achievement and empowerment with, you know, my band Weege. Weege is a solo artist in a band. I know it's weird. And with 880 South and any other bands I may join as a singer, as a songwriter, as a producer, I'm always yearning for that recognition because we put a lot of time into our work, into our craft, and a lot of our personal money that we don't get back. So as a father, as a husband, as a friend, I'm always trying to achieve those things. But this is what I want in life, and that's why I started a coffee page. It's ko-fi.com/Weege. You can support me there. I'm pretty adamant about memberships right now because that's the best way to support an artist is through memberships, through you know, posting on social media, adding our playlist, adding our songs to playlists and streaming. You know, there's a ton of ways to make life a little easier. You know, buying merch, make it a little easier on a musician. So to everyone's bought merch, love you. Appreciate you. It means a lot. You're saving my ass. So I'm almost done here. Here's all I want to say. I got about 3 minutes. Keep learning and evolving. That's like the most important thing. Do whatever it takes to find that balance and find that happiness. You know, for a few years, I wrote jingles, instrumentals, you know, for TV and film. I even took some stabs at like doing scores and like voiceovers. I did voiceovers for a few years actually. And I did anything I could to stay relevant in an industry that I like still, without having to fully commit to it, which is probably why I didn't do that good in it. But, you know, I failed miserably by financial standards, but I learned a shit ton about production, techniques on the mic, just knowledge in general and processes on how to get sync licensing and song placement. I wouldn't have learned that just being in a band. So I'm always seeking knowledge. And that's where I leave you. I do have a few more plugs here. On April 22nd, 2022, we'll be releasing our first single in over a year. In fact, we'll be releasing one single every month for the next 18 months in the foreseeable future. We have some really ambitious goals with getting like 500 pre-saves. That's on Spotify, but if you don't have Spotify, that's okay. You can just enter your email and it'll unlock the pre-save. You'll get notified on release day, whether you're on Apple, Amazon, Google, whatever you listen to music on. Everyone's got different preferences. Please don't forget to join my coffee, my ko-fi.com/Weege. I'll always be throwing out these fun topics. There's a ton of perks you can gain, like VIP type access to the things I'm doing. And it'll help support my marketing and my production. And of course, it'll help me survive in the music industry and sometimes feed my family. So that's about it. Next week, I'm going to be talking about perfectionism versus productivity. I've got some great references to my dad's automotive body shop days because I learned a lot there about how perfectionism can actually hinder productivity and how perfectionism kills, in our case, creativity and impacts your ability to feel that achievement, which, you know, kind of going back to what I'm talking about now. So until next time, toodaloo.